they would if I...
Hello, welcome to a very special episode of Warriors HQ. This week we are celebrating Rob Harley. Against Munster tomorrow night, he is going to surpass Graham Morrison's all-time appearance record for the club. It will be his 178th game. Here is a video to celebrate his 8 years with the Warriors.
When you're low and your knees can't rise, you feel helpless and you're looking to the sky. Some people would say to accept defeat. Well, if this is fate, then we'll find a way to cheat. 'Cause we'll say a little prayer. If the answer isn't fair, you know you can call on me when you need somebody. You can call on me when you can't stop the tears from falling down. So you can call on me, call on me, darling. You can call on me. You can't stop the tears from falling down. When you're weary and the road is dark, and I'll guide you with the beating of my heart. And if the coward and the help don't come, well then we'll find a way to dodge a smoking gun. And so we'll say a little prayer. But if the answer isn't fair, then call on me. Call on me when you need somebody. Call on me when you can't stop the tears from falling down. So you can call on me, call on me, darling. Call on me. You can't stop the tears from falling down. Tears from falling down. So you can call on me, call on me, darling. Call on me. You can't stop.
A big thank you to our friend Top of the Moon for sending in the numbers you saw in that video there. Earlier today, we sat down with Rob Harley, the man himself, to talk about his milestone. Rob, appearance 178 against Munster tomorrow. How are you feeling about that?
Feeling excited about it. It's a big milestone, but we have it's a huge game against Munster, and everyone in the club's, prepared for that, and that's going to be the main focus going in.
Do you think afterwards you'll take a moment to really reflect on just how big an achievement that is?
Yeah, probably, but kind of leading up to it, I'm going to do all the same things, treat it like a normal game, and look forward to that challenge of playing Munster.
So, if we take you back, what are your memories of your first appearance?
I think my first one was at Firhill, playing Leinster. Came off the bench, very very nervous to be coming on and playing. I think I probably just came on and hit rucks, so not much has changed. And I believe Duncan Weir hit a drop goal in the last minute to win the game.
You came on for Ryan Wilson. Out of all the back row combinations that you've had throughout the years, are there any that stand out as the one that really signify your time here so far?
I don't know. I think I've been lucky to play with really talented players across the back row, and to play with guys who are good people as well as rugby players, and who I've been able to learn from. So Wilson, of course. Chris Hazard was a player who I've really enjoyed playing with the whole career at Glasgow, and who's driven me on. I think Josh Strauss was a great back row to play with. Slightly different style from me and what he brought to the game, but great to play with. And then there's kind of the current crop of guys coming through as well. Really talented players. The two Matts going really well at the moment. So I've been lucky that kind of I've had really good players in the back row whole career. Every year I've been here, it's been a tight knit group of guys who train really really hard, but have fun with training as well, and it's enjoyable to play with. So the guys who are here when I started, Dougie Hall, Al Kellock, Graham Morrison, Bernie Stortoni, all the way through to the guys now. Just the squads have always been together, fought for each other, but had that collectedness, had a lot of fun as well, and that's been great to have.
And how confident are you that this current group of players could go on to become the second group to lift a league title for the club?
We definitely have the potential. It's I think it's the goal for everyone at the club. So it's in our hands. It's on us to make sure we're maximising what we do, using this chance, and that is ultimately for this season. That is the goal for all of us. So I think everyone in the squad's building towards that, and hopefully being champions again this year.
Up next is our regular analysis section, and this week we speak to assistant coach Kenny Murray. He talks us through just why Rob Harley is so invaluable to the club. Hello, welcome back to the analysis section of Warriors HQ. I'm delighted to be joined by Kenny Murray. Kenny, how are you?
Good, thanks, Jack. How are you?
Good, thanks. And performance analyst Greg Willard, as always. This week on HQ, we've been focusing on Rob Harley as he's about to break the all-time appearance record for Glasgow Warriors. Kenny, what can you tell us about Rob? He's a real servant to the club, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously been a Glasgow stalwart for a number of years now. Rob's come from a Glasgow club, west of Scotland, where he played his mini and midi rugby, and he played for all of the Glasgow age grade squads in the build up to becoming a professional player. So from 16s right through to 20s, signed professional for Glasgow. As you said, has played an incredible amount of games, and has also represented his country. So he's pretty much done everything in rugby in a national perspective, and has been a real stalwart over those years for the club.
He's hard as nails, isn't he? I must imagine he's a bit of a nightmare to play against.
Yep, he's probably one of the toughest guys, probably not only in our club, but also I would say in the league as well. I think anybody who knows Rob or has played against him, always comes off the pitch knowing they've been tackled by him, or they've been involved with him in a contact. So he's a real hard physical player. Let's
have a look at an example of that first up.
Yeah, this is a good clip, Greg, if you hold it there. This clip probably highlights Rob's mindset more than anything else. We'll play it through, Greg. As you see Rob coming in here to contact, he's on the floor. Just keep playing it through, Greg. He's on the floor here. At this stage, he's now got a really serious hand injury, which resulted in an operation. But a lot of players would have stayed down in this situation. But if you look at Rob, he's getting up, thinking about getting back into that attack line, albeit he's probably not going to be catching many balls. But just a real positive mindset about getting back in the game, working for the team rather than just staying in the ground and staying out the game. You see him there tracking back, offering himself as a potential option. And then when the referee blows the final whistle there, he goes down to highlight to the medics that he's got quite a bad injury. So that sort of whatever it takes mentality, which is our sort of mantra, Rob highlights that more than anybody else in the club, I would suggest.
Like you said, he's not going to catch a ball there, but how important is it that he stays in the line? What's that doing to the opposition?
Yeah, I mean, it's just obviously posing a threat to the opposition. He's another attacker on the line. He pulls out more defenders rather than defence not having to worry about him. And I'm sure, to be honest, if Rob had to catch that ball, if someone had thrown it to him, I'm sure he would have caught it. So yeah, really good attitude and mindset from him. Let's look at him in attack again. Our next clip's from the final, probably one of the most famous tries he'll have ever scored. Yeah, I think this was excellent for Rob. Hold it there, Greg. I think for me it was a really well-deserved try for him. Obviously, all players will want to score tries, but particularly in major finals and major competitions. I think you see here Rob's work rate to support Leone and get in behind the ball is what he gets his try from. So if we play it through, Greg, he knows Leone is probably going to offload that ball. Take it back a bit, Greg. What's really good about that is Rob's running line behind Leone, coming in from behind, and also the pace he's hitting that ball at. You know, he knows he's going to get a pass in the basket, brings it in tight, rides a tackle, couple of tackles, and gets over the gain line. And I think probably no more player ever deserved that try than Rob, considering what he's put into the club over the last sort of 8 to 10 years. So our next clip's something slightly more recent. It's this year. We're away in Italy. Talk us through this one. Yeah, we talk a lot about our work rate and our energy and our kick chase. So we play this one through, Greg. This is a particularly strong part of Rob's game. He understands our principles really well, very knowledgeable guy about the game. You see here he's up hard in the line, working hard to get up and make tackles. But you play it through, Greg, you see him, he's backing his feet after he makes a contact. So this year we talk a lot about backing the game. And you see here Rob, after he makes a tackle, he's up, he's back in the game, and he's getting back into that defensive line. So if we take it back, Greg, and we'll look through that again. So just the key things here are his work rate to get in the line. Let's play it through normal, Greg. So tackle, back to feet quickly, back in the game. Next job, so a double effort here. Back in his feet again, back in the defensive line. So constantly showing a picture of to the opposition that we've got really good numbers in our defensive line, and that only comes from a mindset and an attitude to work and outwork your opposition. So a really good example of what he's like as a player. And we saw that work rate on the weekend, didn't we, against the Cheetahs? Yeah, I mean, it's another good example. I think Rob's probably, for me, one of the underrated players in our squad. I think he's probably one of the best defensive players we have. One on his physicality, and then obviously in his energy to recycle himself. Here's a good example of it. Really aware of his role. So clearing out here, really physical, showing real physicality and taking opposition players out and allowing us to get that lightning quick ball that's important to us. Okay, we move on to the next clip. And again, just around what we call our guard shield area. We knew the Cheetahs were going to come really hard and physical around that area, and we'd have to match that physicality. So this gives you an example of what Rob did really well. We can hold it there, Greg. You see here the ball carrier has got a support player, a well player on. A big part of our defence strategy against the Cheetahs was to try and stop that momentum right away by getting a really good low chop and snapping off the weld. So we play it through, Greg, and look at Rob's line speed, that acceleration off the line, and stops the Cheetahs getting any momentum and getting anywhere near the gain line. So we'll see that through again, Greg. Just the key things here again. Rob's, his effort, his energy, his acceleration. You know, we talk about hunting the opposition down. Rob shows that really well there, hunting them down, low chop, putting them under pressure, and suddenly we've gained a bit of yardage. So excellent example of his defensive qualities. Well, Kenny, thanks very much for your insight. Thanks for joining on Warriors HQ. We'll have more analysis next week when hopefully we've got some more Rob Harley highlights from his 178th Glasgow Warriors appearance away in Munster. Thanks for watching Warriors HQ. We'll be back at the same time next week. We finish this week's episode with a few messages for Rob Harley from those closest to him.
So I've been fortunate enough to be here for pretty much all of Robert's 177 caps so far. and it's fair to say he's the most durable player that I've ever played with. I remember one occasion, I think last season, he'd snapped his thumb, but he wanted to stay in the pitch because he thought it was somebody else's tooth that was sticking out his hand. So yeah, just goes to say how hard a guy he is. He's an extremely hard-working player, and an occasion that sticks out for me again, I think it was our first season here. We're getting coached by Sean Loreen, and Rob was told to do some work on his kickoffs. No one was allowed to leave the training pitch until Rob caught one kickoff. That was 8 years ago, and I think that was the last one he caught. So, no, in all seriousness, Booby, you've been one of the most hard-working guys that I know, and it's been a pleasure to play alongside you. You know what you're going to get every time you go on the pitch. You're a guy who puts his body on the line, and even when there's bits hanging off you, still have to stay on and play. So here's to many more caps, and hopefully we'll see you reach the 200 mark, big man. But we've got a jersey that's been embroidered with Rob Harley, 178 caps. You get to play in that. Congrats, big man. Hang up in your dining room, how you want to do it.
I've been at the club a long time. It's been an honour to be at the club and play as many times as I had. I think that's all the tries and also all the line breaks I've ever made for the club. So it'd be good to get a few more chances to show off my signature try celebration as well. I've fallen like a wounded duck over the line. Yeah, it just did mean a lot to me if we can go out and win this weekend, play the passion that kind of we do representing Glasgow, and take it on for the rest of the season as well. I played at the club when we were finishing down the bottom league, and we got smashed by Cardiff and Connacht in my first season, and I played when we won the title, and I know we have that potential in this group to do something special this season, so we should go and do it.
Hi Rob, congratulations for your 178 caps. I think you work hard for it and it's a massive goal. And you are an example for myself and for the team every time. And then I want to say congratulations also for your 10 tries. It's a massive achievement. Keep going.
Bobby, congrats on 178 appearances for Glasgow. Massive achievement. We know how much work you put into the club, and it's all really appreciated. So listen, good luck on the 178 more, and we'll see you clinging on to people and nosing people up in those rucks. Cheers, mate.
Rob, congratulations. Obviously a massive achievement, becoming our famous club's most decorated player. I want to wish you all the best this weekend. You're one of the hardest working guys I've ever played with, and yeah, I'm sure you'll make sure everyone's entertained, and I hope that we have a cracking result for you at the weekend. All the best.
Yep, obviously one of the weirdest guys I've played with. I think it's fantastic, amazing, outstanding achievement. You go down in history books, club legend, good guy. I said don't change for anybody, stay weird.
Angels fall to the floor like they would if I was kind.